Welcome back with another banger. It's the React Files. Hope you're having a good night. Let's get straight to it.
Remember we talked about demons possessing AI?
Yes.
Have you heard this new thing happening? It's the freakiest thing ever.
What?
ChatGPT users are developing bizarre delusions. Listen to this. So one man claimed AI helped him, quote, recover childhood memories that experts say never happened. Another began to worship ChatGPT, believing it was a divine messenger. A viral Reddit user declared themselves a spiral star child, convinced that AI revealed their cosmic destiny. In some cases, users claimed AI validated decisions like abandoning their families and hearing voices in radio waves.
I don't think these people are going crazy. I think it's just opening yourself up to something.
But apparently people are getting like weird visions involved with their AI. It's really creepy.
I mean, even from a psychological standpoint, though, you ever like doom scrolling and then you're thinking, hey, I should go get something. And then it's like the next ad in your feed. You're like, I didn't say that one out loud. Why on earth? I think they've already got our programming so dialed.
Yeah. I mean, I was so creeped out when I asked it to list off everything it thinks it knows about me and how crazy accurate it was. And I don't give it any like personal information about my life.
It learns.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm scared by this technology, but when I was in middle school, I had one of those electronic game things of 20 questions.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, how does it doing
That was
this?
weird.
It's that
I guess
type
we're
of stuff.
that
It's
predictable.
deduction. There's got to be levels of reading that it can do that we have no way to understand it.
Well, we know it has its own language. We've seen AI communicate between each other. And I agree, when you think of something and it pops up on your phone, it's really trippy. It's definitely a slippery slope. Shout outs to Ninjas of Butterflies.
Megan team really got people out here fooled, y'all. But not me. I know y'all seen the statements her team put out. Talking about, there's no new evidence. This is everything they had in court. And they start putting up all these slides. And you know the Shade Room and all these other pages ate it up. And you had people in the comments like, look, I told you it was a fair trial. Look, this is all the evidence that points to Tory. But what about this? This is from Kelsey's own bodyguard. And some people are so lackadaisical, they was like, why didn't he been say this? At the time of the trial, he was her bodyguard and he was eavesdropping. He heard shit. And he didn't want to say it back then. But seeing what Tory went through in prison, he said he felt a guilty conscience. Everything he didn't say, it made sense anyway. It made sense before, so he really didn't have to say nothing. Why did she ask for immunity when she didn't do shit? Why did she plead the fifth? Come on now. And then Megan team want to talk about the ring footage. We're talking about the audio. Everything that aligns from what the witness first said back in the day. 3 shots went off from a woman. Pow, pow, pow. You hear the pause. And then 2 more shots come in. And that's when Tory Lanez allegedly grabbed the gun. Y'all remember what she said? Tory said, dance B. That never happened. You can hear everything else in that audio. You can hear the commotion, but you didn't hear no dance B. And here y'all go. How hard is it to read and see things, bruh? The gun had 4 DNA profiles, 2 males, 2 females. The main male contributor, 90%, was not Tory. 0% fingerprints from Tory. 0% of Tory's DNA on the magazine. Just a 0.01 chance Tory DNA was on that gun. You really had people eating up what Megan Team put out. It's crazy. It's so many people that want to see this man behind bars knowing that this girl did it. I promise you, if there was another piece of footage somewhere like lost and they found it and it showed Kelsey pulling the trigger, people still wouldn't care. They want to see a black man, Tory, in prison for no reason. Free Tory.
DNA says he was 90% not the shooter, according to Representative Lunar out in California. Shout out to Zay Reacts. There's so much going on in the music industry right now. It's crazy.
So you mean to tell me that this is not dirt, this is ice? And this also used to be a cornfield? In Union, Kentucky, 2 feet of hail dropped out of nowhere like a mini glacier storm. You ever seen your crop get covered in ice in the month of May?
This is not dirt. This is ice.
And here he goes stepping on it to show y'all the millions of pellets that this hell consists of.
This is our corn on top of 2 foot of ice.
Corn stalks are gone. The field is turned into a tundra. This literally looks like a scene in the movie The Day After Tomorrow.
Hell.
See, I always say the creator has a sense of humor, because you don't just have ice working in the form of government where people are getting deported, but ice is coming from the heavens too. This is what they mean by hell on earth. Either you're gonna get cold as hell, which is the hell balls, or you're gonna get hot as hell, which is what the sun is doing. But nonetheless, hell is going to keep raining down.
2 foot deep ice and hell.
Interesting times that we live in, y'all. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shift is here. Let's get it. Peace in.
Yo, peace in. I haven't seen anything like that in my life. Shout out to Kentucky. I feel so bad for the farmer who lost his crop. Those like big boulders. Like, what's going on?
This is gonna keep you up while you sleep tonight. The hollow moon theory. Our moon really doesn't make sense when you look at the facts. Like, it shouldn't exist. The moon is about 25% of Earth's size, the biggest moon to planet ratio of our entire solar system. Pluto is not a planet, that doesn't count. That's 72 times larger than the expected average moon to planet ratio of our solar system. Moons are just not supposed to be this big relative to their home planet, but sure, maybe we got lucky. Despite this, the moon is only 1% of Earth's mass. 1%, meaning it is way lighter than it's expected to be, and we really don't even know why. Unless, of course, the moon is either extremely porous like a sponge or a hollow shell. When looking at this data, NASA's own Dr. Gordon McDonald even said himself it would seem that the moon is more like a hollow than a homogeneous sphere. But oh, that's just the tip, and we ain't stopping. Our moon's orbit is way closer than that of any of the other over 400 moons in our solar system, and also has a near perfectly circular orbital path. We don't see this on any other planet, which all have moons with wildly eccentric orbits. Our moon also coincidentally appears as the exact same size as the sun in our sky. Despite our sun having a diameter 400 times larger than the moon just so happens to be exactly 400 times closer to us, defying all odds of randomness, but is officially deemed just a cosmic coincidence. The moon also happens to be tidally locked with our planet, meaning its rotational period is the same as its orbital period around the Earth, which is why the same side is always facing us. This one is not so much a coincidence, as tidally locked moons are actually fairly common in our solar system. But it would also be the perfect excuse for the moon to always look the same in our sky, and for us to never see what's on the other side, like an all-seeing eye that never ceases surveillance of our planet. We don't even know for sure how our moon even got there in the first place. The most common explanation is that the early Earth collided with a massive protoplanet called Theia about 4.5 billion years ago, which was thought to be roughly the size of Mars, and the impact caused the resulting debris to coalesce and eventually form the moon. This is known as the giant impact theory. There's also the fission hypothesis, where an early molten Earth was spinning so fast that a part of it got ejected out into space and became the moon. The capture theory, implying the moon just drifted by Earth and was captured by its gravity. And the accretion theory, suggesting that as the early Earth was forming in its accretion disk, a part of that disk clumped together to become the moon. But when studying rock samples from the surface of the moon, we find out that none of these theories quite make any sense, with other NASA scientists like Dr. Robin Brett further quoted as saying, "It seems much easier to explain the non-existence of the moon than its existence. Like on Earth, the newest rocks are on the surface, and the deeper we go, the older the rocks get, as we would naturally expect to be the case. On the moon, it's the other way around. Soil samples from the moon confirm that older rocks are on the surface, and they get younger the deeper we go. The only time we ever see this inverse relationship of rock layer depth to rock age on Earth is through human interaction, like drilling, digging holes, and boring tunnels. Did the same thing happen on the moon? If the moon was hollowed out from the inside, this older inner rock would be brought up to the surface, and this observation would make sense. The lunar crust is also thinner on the side of the moon facing the Earth and thicker on the dark side of the moon, and researchers still have no idea why. The moon doesn't have a magnetic field, much the same as other planets' moons, but strangely, moon rock samples are strongly magnetized. Craters on the moon are all virtually the same depth, no matter how big or small they are. On Earth, bigger craters naturally go much deeper than smaller ones, as the impact was greater. Not on the moon. Almost like there's a a solid layer underneath, preventing the crater from going too deep. Moon rocks are also much older than the oldest rocks on Earth by millions of years, blowing the fission hypothesis and accretion theory out of the water. The moon contains traces of uranium-236, a radioactive isotope that doesn't occur naturally on Earth, but rather through the highly complicated scientific process of nuclear fission, something that only an intelligent species is capable of. Zirconium, chromium, and titanium are all relatively rare Earth metals, but are somehow quite abundant on the moon. Those three elements are also some of the most durable and corrosive resistant that we know of, perfect for building a massive structure. And they've even done quantifiable experiments that tell us that's exactly what the moon might be. When Apollo 12 was leaving the moon's orbit, they intentionally dropped their lunar lander down to the surface. When it crashed, seismic measurements showed that the moon reverberated and rang like a bell for an hour. They did not expect this. Only hollow objects are expected to reverb like this, especially with something as small as a lunar lander. During Apollo 13, they tested that again with a much larger object, dropping a spent Saturn V booster rocket that impacted the lunar surface. This time, the moon rang for 3 hours, with vibrations going as deep as 32 kilometers beneath the surface, and even got faster the deeper they got. This doesn't happen on Earth, or even solid objects for that matter, and again is only expected to occur on something hollow.
It rang for 3 hours. That's crazy. But if it rang for 3 hours, it would definitely say a lot about it being
great. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is real anymore. Everything real will be fake, and everything fake will be real. That's what I was saying 3 years ago when AI was getting crazy. This right here is not real. This is Google VO.
One move with AI that makes haters go crazy every time.
Oh, y'all gotta give them that. This is wild. It's over. We are cooked on that thread. You get me?
Every video I'm showing you in this video is all going to be artificial intelligence. But think about everything that's happened these last 2 years. Everything they released to the public, they are decades farther than that. So if they are releasing this now, they must have had this technology for a very long time now. The streamers leading the youth to pollution, are half of them even real? And what about the holographic technology that can show stuff like this right in front of us and it looks real as well? These artificial generations are so good they could literally fool any person on the earth right now. Don't forget, most of life in 2025 happens on the phone and not in real life. There's only one reason things like this would be allowed. I'm not going to tell you what that is, so I'm sure you can figure it out.
I'm blown away. If that's all fake, we're cooked. Shout outs to the real Moon Henry. The movie looked real. The interview on the street looks real. I thought it was the Haktua girl. Comedian, he had all his fingers, expressions. He makes a good point. What is even real anymore? I look like Google done took over the market.
Imagine waking up and finding a whole ass ship in your garden. And the story of how this happened is even more insane. So it's 5 a.m. in Trondheim, Norway, and a massive container ship crashes into this guy's back garden. But bro must be the heaviest sleeper on the planet because he didn't wake up once during the entire thing. In fact, his neighbor had to come over and wake him up and be like, hey man, you got a ship in your garden. Johan told the media that if it was 5 meters south, it would have entered his bedroom. So what caused this 135-meter container ship to crash? Well, no one knows yet. All 16 crew members were still on board and completely unharmed, so an investigation is underway. The CEO of the shipping company revealed that the same ship has run aground twice before, one in 2023 and again in 2024. Now, in 2025. Bro, who is steering this thing?
Man was taking a video of a pigeon eating when suddenly, the pigeon on the left seems to be chased by a shadow. The other pigeons around it see it too and frightened. They flew into the air to avoid it. The shadow then disappears into the grass. He assures me it wasn't a rat or anything of the sort. It was simply a shadow. Watch this. Follow me for your dose of nightmare fuel.
Are y'all aware of all the things that just happened in the last 12 hours? We will come right back to this plane crash that was in a military homes area. Okay, so follow me on this. And TikTok, I'm just saying what the news said. This is all alleged. So while everyone was sleeping last night, there was what they call a terrorist attack that happened with 2 Jewish individuals that were part of the embassy. And the culprit there, saying the alleged culprit was yelling, "Free a certain place." Keep in mind, all the headlines right before this stuff happened was that this place was preparing to strike this place fast. And even that second place getting along with this place a whole bunch now. As well as a bunch of radio jamming around Qatar. Now, just hours after the attack on the embassy members, there was a shooting at this 3-letter agency saying that this lady did not stop at the main gate. So they closed the gate down completely. That organization put up a tweet saying that their main gate was closed, but they didn't address why, but then other places addressed the reason that there was a shooting, because the lady didn't stop at the main gate. Now, just hours after that, there was a private business jet that went down in a military family complex, unaliving many people. We can just add that to the list of all the other planes. What are the odds that all this stuff happens exactly the way it did? I'm not going to say my opinion, but let me know what you think.
I think it's just a scary coincidence. My condolences to the families of all who lost their lives during this time span.
So the moon is not only hollow, but an artificial spacecraft that came here a long time ago. At least according to 2 Soviet scientists who carefully analyzed all the data brought back from the moon in 1970. They even published an article about it in Sputnik magazine titled, "Is the Moon Creation by Alien Intelligence?" But this wasn't the first time this idea was suggested, as ancient myths all talk about the moon and have something very interesting to say about it. If you go back far enough, eventually you get to one thing that many myths agree on: a time before the moon was here. The Proselynes is a period written by Roman and Greek authors about a people called the Arcadians, who were here before there was a moon in the heavens. In Bolivia, on the other side of the world, the ancient Tiwanaku also write about the same period, a time before there was a moon, and that it arrived here around 13,000 years ago. In Africa, the Zulu people have legends that explicitly state the moon is hollow, was brought into orbit by dragons, and is inhabited by reptilian beings. Yup, we're back in lizard people territory. And that there was a time when the entire earth was covered by a thick blanket of water vapor, so much that you could barely see the sun. When the moon arrived, all this water vapor pooled together on Earth's surface, causing a global flood that restarted civilization. Sounds familiar. And that it also stabilized the climate and changed the tides of the ocean, which, mind you, this was written thousands of years ago. We didn't even know about the moon's effects on our tides until more recent times. Now lately, official reports by professional astronomers have seen some crazy shit on the moon that we just can't explain. On March 7th, 1971, while observing the moon, a cloud of water vapor randomly appeared on the surface. It covered roughly 260 square kilometers and stayed there for over 14 hours. No explanation. We have multiple individual reports of astronomers seeing a glowing mist on the moon, all on separate occasions. All of these independent sightings were reported coming from the same spot, the Plato crater. Flashing lights with no explanation on the moon are surprisingly nothing new, as astronomers have been reporting them for hundreds of years. Today, NASA officially reports over 2,000 sightings of light flashes on the moon since 554 AD that couldn't be explained and still continue to this day. These flashing lights and mist on the moon were so common they were even given a name, transient lunar phenomena, TLP. Like the infamous blue gem, a glowing blue light that was seen out of the Aristarchus crater on the moon in 1992 and has been seen many times since. Close-up satellite photos of the lunar surface very frequently show physical anomalies that can't be explained as natural formations, much like we see on Mars, like tall spires, much too high to be naturally forming, as confirmed by both Boeing and NASA scientists themselves. Strange structures with straight edges, perfect angles, squares, circles, and massive glowing objects that look nothing like their surrounding environments. Some of these discoveries even made front-page news of major publications, but were later denied by all media and even photoshopped out of official photos. And not surprisingly, the majority of these anomalous structures were found on the dark side of the moon, the side that we can't see from Earth. Almost like they're intentionally being hidden from us. Leading experts like U.S. Air Force photo technician Carl Wolf noticed these himself and insists scientists that artificial structures very much exist on the moon, which today these photos are either edited out or no longer available from NASA, who claim them to be just optical illusions. Not to mention the dozens of ultra-zoomed amateur videos of orbs and other crafts seen flying on and around the moon. Like, what is going on there? I really gotta get me one of those telescopic zoom cameras and try this out myself. All of these strange, unexplainable moon phenomena and characteristics kind of make it seem like the moon isn't the empty, desolate body we think it is, but rather possibly inhabited by an intelligent species who conduct operations on, or more likely below, the lunar surface. Perhaps even being some sort of massive, hollowed out spacecraft that came here a long time ago and sits in perfect orbit around us, watching our every move. Let's be real, NASA. That's no moon now, is it?
And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed tonight's rabbit hole. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you check this one right here? Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe. Thanks again. Till next time.